As Nigerians come to terms with the new reality of economic nosedive owing to dwindling oil revenues, it has become expedient to look inwards for resources to fund capital projects and keep the economy buoyant. Kwara State is one of the states in Nigeria that is taking proactive measures to redefine the revenue profile, moving away from oil revenue and federal allocation to a tax-driven one. Alhaji Ahmed seized the initiative by abrogating the old tax laws that created the defunct Board of Internal Revenue and proposed a new law to establish the new Kwara Internal Revenue Service, KWIRS. The new law was duly passed by the Kwara State House of Assembly, and the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service came into existence. With its mission expressed as mobilizing resources for development, the KWIRS brings on board an entirely new approach to revenue collection with the people, the process, and technology. Unlike the defunct Board of Internal Revenue, which was beset by civil service bureaucracies and ran inefficiently, the KWIRS is saddled with a team of professionals and technocrats from the private sector and is to run as a corporate entity without interference and with a total focus for result delivery. The new tax service has since been on the front burner of sensitization campaigns with advocacy efforts aimed at educating Kwarans on its operations and encouraging them to play their civic duties of paying taxes to state coffers. It also carried out an enumeration exercise to capture the informal sector into the tax net in the state in order to properly capture this vital sector. On Monday, 8th February 2016, His Excellency Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed performed the official commissioning of the KWIRS head office situated on plot 27 Amadu Bello Way, GRA, Ilorin. Speaking at the event, the chairman, Kwara State Internal Revenue Service, Dr. Muritala Awodun, said with the taking off of the service, the state had joined the League of States in efficient and effective tax collection system. Dr. Awodun assured that the approach of the service will impact positively on the economy of Kwara State.
We are all here because we are stakeholders in this project, and we therefore be associated with the new oriented policy of this survival project of the revenue drive of the state of Harmony. I most sincerely identify with the factual nature of His Excellency, who has not at any time minced his words in the firm commitment towards upliftment and improvement of the financial position of Kwara State. His doggedness and commitment to the process leading to the birth and survival of this project in an era of declining federal revenue cannot but be commended as that of a realistic and committed leader. You are distinguished by the bold step and have joined the League of States that have courageously taken the bull by the horn, by not just paying lip service to the reality of survival, but going the whole hog to put the law that established the service in place and boldly changing the people, the process, the technology and infrastructure. On behalf of the entire management and staff of Kwara State Internal Revenue Service, presently made up of 245 team players, I express our deepest gratitude for the support you have provided to the service since inception. However, with the dwindling revenue from federal allocation, Kwara State government, like many other states of the Federation, must rethink its ways and look inwards. This is one major reason that has led to the setting up of Kwara State Internal Revenue Service, not only to drive for internally generated revenue, but also to ensure that the revenue gets to the purse of the Kwara State government. In pursuit of the above vision, the management of Kwara State Internal Revenue Service evolved the following mission statement, and that is to serve the residents of Kwara State using the most convenient strategies that will add value and integrity to the revenue mobilization process and actualize the development objectives of the government of Kwara State.
While performing the official commissioning ceremony of the corporate headquarters of the service, Governor Ahmed said a review of the previous revenue collection process showed that the state was losing about 5 billion naira annually due to inefficiencies in the tax collection system. Governor Ahmed assured that KWIRS will plug loopholes in revenue collection and ensure that all revenues accruable to the state government were remitted accurately and promptly. According to His Excellency, the average monthly generated revenue of 600 million naira was no longer enough to finance capital and recurrent expenditure in the state. He said that Kwara State has the population, commerce, resources and opportunities necessary for achieving target of 60 billion naira annually.
Today, we take concrete steps towards making Kwara State more economically sustainable and financially viable amidst the challenges of a turbulent national economy. This event demonstrates our commitment to creating a diverse and solid revenue base for the state. It also underlines our resolve to continually meet our obligations and insulate our economy from the instability of global oil markets. I therefore welcome you all to the commissioning of Kwara State Internal Revenue Service, KWIRS Revenue House. It is on record that most state governments generate only a small portion of their revenue requirements internally and depend on federal allocation for the rest. Unfortunately, this is no longer sustainable. The recent fall in global crude oil prices has led to a significant decrease in the funds available for distribution to federal, state, and local governments from the federation allocation. In our case, monthly allocation has dropped from an average of 3.4 billion monthly to 1.4 billion monthly. To put this reduction in perspective, the state government requires 2.4 billion naira monthly for worker salary alone. The truth is no state can lay claim to self-sufficiency or deliver the required social good for citizens without an effective tax administration. Clearly, it is only through significant internally generated revenue that Kwara State can be viable and self-sustaining. The defunct Board of Internal Revenue consistently failed to meet its set target of 1 billion naira monthly, despite getting the necessary assistance from the state government. It became evident that we needed to align our IGR with current realities by changing the people, the process, and technology that would drive the process for revenue collection. We opted for an automated system that simplifies tax payments, eliminates multiple taxation, ensures greater transparency, and blocks loopholes. Also, I solicit the support of all stakeholders in Kwara State towards the implementation of this new IGR drive, and it will save the state from financial crisis and assist the government to further meet its obligation to the people. Let me also use this opportunity to reassure the people of Kwara State that KWIRS was established not to impose any fresh tax. Rather, its mandate is to make revenue collection and management more efficient. I urge all businesses and individuals in the state to perform their civic duty by paying their regular taxes. With these remarks, I have the singular honor and pleasure commissioning the KWIRS Revenue House for the current prosperity and the future benefit of Kwara State and its great people. Thank you all, and God bless.
He thereafter performed the cutting of the tape, signifying the formal commissioning of the Revenue House, and proceeded on an inspection tour of the facilities.
The Revenue House, which inshallah will play a pivotal role in driving the growth of Kwara State to desirable levels. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful.
Also at the event, His Excellency also flagged off the innovative Kwara Residence Identification Number, which is to be allocated to all residents of the state, while serving as a form of identification, and will also enable them to access government services such as education, health, and other social services. Symbolic presentation of tax certificates was done, with the governor receiving his tax certificates and Kwara Resident Identification Number identity card. He also presented tax certificates to selected Kwarans who have been paying their taxes duly over the years. The event attracted dignitaries from all walks of life, including members of business and academic communities, traditional rulers, legal luminaries, and prominent politicians. In the same light, Alhaji Ahmed also commissioned the facilities of the Kwara State Revenue Court at Abdul Karim Adisa Street, GRA, Ilorin. The Kwara Revenue Court is a specialized court set up by legislation alongside the Kwara Internal Revenue Service to attend to and resolve litigations bordering on tax issues and tax offences in Kwara State. The Kwara Revenue Court is to engender the sustenance and compliance to the new tax system by prosecuting tax evaders and tax offenders. Speaking at the official commissioning of the court complex, the Permanent Secretary, Kwara State Ministry of Justice, said proper use of the facilities will be ensured, and it will be seen to that justice is served in every case brought before the court. Also speaking, the State Chief Judge, Justice Suleiman Kawu, said the state judiciary is in the same page with the government in plugging revenue leakages. Justice Suleiman promised that competent judicial officers will be deployed to the Revenue Court to address issues arising from tax matters.
Today is an epoch-making occasion, as it marks in my recollection the first time in the history of the state that laws are made to deal specifically with taxes and courts created with jurisdiction on tax issues. This, in my view, is a demonstration of Your Excellency's belief in the rule of law, as opposed to the rule of force, where armed enforcers are used to chase tax defaulters in the bid to collect taxes. I want to assure Your Excellency that the investment in the Revenue Court is a wise one, as it will send signal any would-be defaulter that the law will take its due course in the recovery of taxes in the state. The establishment of this court will also send signals to the business community and investors in particular that any conflict arising out of payment of taxes will be adequately and quickly resolved by the judiciary in a dignified environment. This in turn will instill confidence in the business community, which is required for economic growth of the state. Let me assure Your Excellency that the state judiciary is on the same page with you in your resolve to plug leakages in revenue collection in the state.
The Kwara State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Barrister Kamaldeen Ajibade, also explained that the court has jurisdiction to hear and determine any case or matter brought to it in pursuant to Section 26 of the State Revenue Administration Law 2015 and the State Revenue Court Law Cap K44.
The commissioner of the Kwara State Revenue Court is one of the eloquent testimonies that this administration is not only making a difference, but living up to its billing for posterity in this state. The mandate of any tax regime is to encourage voluntary compliance with the statutory demands and to have the dispute arising therefrom resolved by amicable means. However, there are occasions when last recourse shall be made to enforcement mechanism to ensure compliance. Pursuant to Section 26 of the Kwara State Revenue Administration Law 2015 and the Kwara State Revenue Law Cap K44, Laws of Kwara State 2006, the Revenue Court has jurisdiction to hear and determine any cause or matter brought to the court under the various tax legislation enforced in the state.
The Kwara State Governor, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed, on the occasion of the commissioning of the Revenue Court, called on the residents of the state to recognize tax payment not only as a responsibility, but also as their vital contribution to the collective prosperity of the state. According to him, the court's jurisdiction covers every part of the state in matters relating to revenue of the state government and for recovery of penalties, rates, taxes, contributions, levies, expenses, or other recoverable by virtue of any enactment in force in the state. Governor Ahmed explained that the Revenue Court will ensure that matters relating to tax evasion and avoidance were dealt with expeditiously.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the commissioning of the Kwara State Revenue Court. Tax payment is a civic responsibility that all liable individuals and organizations are obliged to fulfill in the interest of common good. While a significant number of individuals and organizations pay taxes voluntarily, others evade or otherwise refuse to comply with tax law. Revenue courts are therefore required to enforce compliance with laws relating to tax administration in the state. The court has jurisdiction over every part of the state in matters relating to revenue of the state government and for the recovery of penalties, rates, taxes, contributions, levies, expenses or other like demands recoverable by virtue of any enactment in force in the state. The Revenue Court is therefore specialized and technical. It will ensure that matters relating to tax evasion and avoidance are dealt with expeditiously. Finally, I call on all the people of Kwara State to recognize tax payment not only as a responsibility, but also as a vital contribution to provision of goods and services necessary for our collective prosperity.
The KWIRS is a sole entity with the responsibility for effective collection of state and local council revenue and is expected to block all leakages, wastages, and corruption in the process of revenue generation. It will as well ensure optimal tax compliance by taxable individuals and corporate entities in Kwara. With the coming on board of the KWIRS and the expected results in availability of resources to fund projects and deliver the goods, Kwara State is poised for even greater good.
For most of the developed world, Europe and America, we know that tax is not one thing that is taken with levity. It's taken very seriously, and it is most important for the development of any nation. Albeit, in the national context of Nigeria, right, it is important that transparency and accountability must be brought, not to be seemingly so, but to be seen to be as such for it to succeed.
The idea is highly welcome. I know it will assist us in Kwara State. Since Kwara State we don't have industries like Lagos State. But if all of us are really doing our best by paying the tax, it will assist the government and it will assist us to, it will assist the community as well. They'll be able to provide the amenities for us in Kwara State.
Taxation all over the world is very compulsory. Go to Europe, even if you buy anything in the shop, they will tax you 10%. All this money they use it in developing the areas. Now all along we have neglected this area seriously, and that is why it's having an impact on us. But now I'm sure government will make money, and I wish they will.
Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, recently hosted stakeholders in shipping and freight business, as well as the relevant sector, converged on the city for the National Air Freight Summit organized by the Nigerian Shippers Council with support from the Kwara State government. Speaking at the one-day summit, the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Shippers Council, Mr. Hassan Bello, stressed that the air freight sector held great potentials for the expansion of the nation's export base in perishable, time-sensitive and high-value goods. He gave further insight to the objective of the summit, which he said was aimed at sensitizing all stakeholders to the potentials that abound in the air freight sector for the diversification of the nation's economy and for economic growth.
The event is coming up at a very critical time in the economic life of our nation. We are all aware of the negative impact of dwindling revenue from the oil sector on the nation's finances and the attendant economic distress. The federal and state governments, in response to this situation, are emphasizing the urgent need to diversify the nation's economy and move it away from oil dependency to non-oil revenue earnings, an area that offers the nation great opportunities in expanding non-oil export is the exploitation of the advantages of shipping our exportable products by air.
Goodwill messages given by representatives of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Mr. Sam Okwuchime, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Rotimi Arugunjo, and the President, Kwara State Shippers Association, Alhaji Abdulkadir Alanamu, who each underscored the potentials inherent in cargo sector and described the summit as a welcome development. Speaking on the theme, the diversification of Nigeria's economy, role of cargo airport in the exportation of perishable goods, His Excellency Alhaji Ahmed, who was the guest speaker at the summit, said air cargo will continue to play a vital role in the global economy because domestic cargo business has the potential to generate revenue for both investors and government. His Excellency also reiterated the importance of the agricultural sector in stimulating and insulating the economy from the vagaries of an unstable global economy, and said the reliable transportation and cargo airports in particular have a significant role to play, owing to the critical need to promptly move perishable, time-bound and temperature-sensitive products traversing national and international markets by air to international and domestic markets.
For decades, the oil sector has been the lifeblood of the Nigerian economy, contributing substantially to revenue and export earnings of the country. In the process, we neglected agriculture, which had hitherto been the bedrock of our economy. However, following the persistent drop in the price of crude oil at the global market, which has led to the depletion in the country's resources, it has become pertinent to diversify the economy away from oil to other sectors such as agriculture and solid minerals. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with pleasure, therefore, that I join you today for this seminar. I would like to thank the Nigerian Shippers Council for this great opportunity. Furthermore, I commend the Council for promoting the interests of Nigerian shippers and ensuring seamless and cost-effective shipment of goods in compliance with international standards. As we prepare to put the cargo terminal into operation, the Lome International Airport is also poised to become a major aviation hub in Nigeria and West Africa. In addition, the Kwara State government has set various agricultural programs such as the off-taker demand-driven scheme to help farmers increase production, improve the quality of their produce, and boost livelihood. We are confident that a booming cargo shipping sector is a necessary complement to these efforts. Bearing this in mind, we look forward to resolutions and prescriptions from this seminar that will take us closer to this objective of boosting agribusiness through a robust cargo shipping sector. Finally, let me thank the organizers for selecting Kwara State as a host for this summit. In fact, it couldn't be more auspicious. I wish you all a very happy celebration and pray that God in His heavenly mercy will take you all back to your destination safely. Thank you.
Kwara State, it's good here.